Hey guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. I welcome you all to yet another session of network simulation series based on the concept of SNA. In this lecture, we are going to learn another concept that is based on the concept of dynamic routing protocol. That how we are going to configure routers dynamically with the help of certain protocols. In last lecture, we configured 5 routers using static routing protocol, and here we are going to configure the same thing but with the help of dynamic routing protocol, and it will be done in more efficient way and easier way. So let us start our proceeding. First of all, we will require the 5 routers. Now the switches for the routers. Now the devices, that is going to be, let's say last time we configured PCs, this time we are going to configure the laptops. Now we are going to connect the router, switch and PCs with the help of cables. First of all, I need to arrange them. Now I will require the individual cables for their connection. Now I will mention the IPs used as a gateway and the destination and source. So first of all, let me mention, you can choose any IP of your desire. I will prefer class A as it is easy to tackle. Dot 0.1, and finally let me resize and dot. Now easier. Similar. Mentioning the IP address is a good practice to have. Sometimes you tend to forget the IPs that you have assigned, so when they are present in the form of this node assigned, I think the charging has been low. So first of all, I need to connect my PC to the charger. Okay. Similarly, I will mention the IP of the last router as. Okay, so I have mentioned the IP, but I have forget to connect the routers as well. The router will be connected through serial ports, and for that we need to configure the router. We'll go to the physical section, turn off the router, go to the module and assign ports to the router, then turn the router on. Same thing with all the other routers as well. Turn off, assign ports, then turn on. Similarly to this router as well, turn off, assign ports, then turn on. Similarly this router, turn off, assigning the ports, then turn on. And finally this router, turn off, assigning ports, then done. We'll assign the serial ports. Serial ports have also been assigned. Now I will just need to configure the router and the switches accordingly. For that, I will go to the CLI section. No, enable terminal interface Ethernet for the default router. That is the address 5.0.0.1 to 55.0.0 is the default gateway. No shutdown. Exit similarly to the serial port, that is serial 0/1/0. IP address is 10.0.0.1 to 55.0.0.0. No shutdown. Exit. The same proceeding with this second router as well. No. Enable configure terminal interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0 IP assigned as 6.0.0.1 to 55.0.0. No shutdown. Exit. Similarly to the serial 0/1/1, the IP assigned is 10.0.0.2, having subnet as similarly to the next serial as well. Interface serial. I'm just focusing on the dynamic part. This part has been mentioned in my previous lecture. If you can't understand this lecture, go through them. 0/2/0 7.0.0.1 to 55.0. No shutdown. Exit. Similarly to the router 2, same proceeding. Go to CLI. No. The terminal interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. The address will be 7.0.0.1 to 55.0. No shutdown. Exit. Similarly to the serial, that is 0/2/1. Let me check whether it's correct or not. Yes, it is correct. And is 11. 255.0.0 is the subnet mask. No shutdown. It's similarly on another serial, that is 0/1/0. The IP assigned is 0/1/0. IP address 12.0.0.1 to 55.0.0.0. No shutdown. Exit. Similarly, we'll go to the router 3. Here I'll go to the CLI. No. Configure terminal interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. IP address, that is going to be 8.0.0.1 5.0.0.0. Yes, it's correct. No shutdown. Yes. Serial 0/1/1 IP assigned is, let me check the IP, 12.2 to 55.0.0. Exit. Similarly on this serial, that is basically 0/2/0 is serial 0/2/0. So IP address is 13.5.0.0.0. No shutdown. Right. Similarly to the last router, go to the CLI, no enable configure terminal interface gigabit ethernet 0/0/0, that is 0.0.1 having subnet as 255.0.0. No shutdown. Similarly on this that is basically 0/2/1 IP 0.0.2 no shutdown. That's it. So all the routers and the configuration have been done. Now we need to assign the IPs to the PCs dynamically. For that we'll type the command ipdhcp pool. Let's say ML is the name of that pool where the IP default router is 5.0.0.1 having a network as 5.0.0.0 of subnet mask exit. Similarly, we'll assign the IPs to this PC. Now go to the DHCP and the PC will be assigned the IP dynamically. 5.0.0.1 is the default gateway and this is the IP assigned to the PC. The same proceeding with all the other routers. ML1, let's suppose default router is 6.0.1 having a network 0 to 55.0.0.0. We'll assign IPs to the PC. We'll go to the desktop to the PC and IP is going to be assigned. 6.0.0.1 is the default gateway and this one is the IP address. Now I'll go through this router. I will go to the press the command ipdhcp pool. That is ML1. Let's suppose the default router. We will not suppose the default router, I'm sorry. We'll mention it 7.0.0.1 having network 7.0.0.0 to 5.0.0.0.0 and default router assigned to the PC. I go to the desktop and it's been assigned successfully. Now I'll go to the router 3, the same proceeding ipdhcp pool ML4. Let's suppose default router for router 3 is 8.0.0.1. network will be 8.0.0.0 to 55.0.0.0. I'll assign PC IP to the PC. We'll go through the CP proceeding and IP will be assigned dynamically. Finally, the last router CP pool. This is the name. Default router is 9.0.0.1 and network will be 9.0.0.0 having subnet as 255.0. Similarly, we'll assign IP to this PC dynamically. Now the PCs have been assigned to the individual laptops. IPs have been assigned to the individual laptops. I'm sorry for that. And the IP have been assigned to the routers in terms of switch as well as serial. Now what we'll need to do is we'll need to do the configuration that have not been done. Previously we did it with the help of static routing protocol, but it was a hectic task. Now we'll do it with the help of a dynamic proceeding, that is RIP, routing information protocol. Dynamically you can use another router routing protocol as well, but this is another method for performing the configuration dynamically. What we'll need to do is we'll just mention the network name. The default network is 5.0.0.0 that I have added. After that we'll add the network that is going to establish the connection between the routers, that is basically 10.0.0.0. The first one is the default gateway network that is formed between this router, and the second is the gateway that is being performed between the router 0 and router 1. Similarly, I will do the same proceeding with this one. I will go to the configuration where I will go to the RIP. I'll mention the default gateway that is basically 6.0.0.0. After that, the next routing is going to be added as 10.0.0.0, and this network is also being done with the router 2 as well, so I will also mention this network name as well. First of all, I will check whether these two PCs are exchanging messages successfully or not. Let us see. It started to show us the fail sign. Yes, it's been sharing message successfully. You can see the difference between static and routing. In static, it was a long task as we need to type the command. Here, just we will mention the network name. Now I will mention the router 2 configuration, that how router 2 is going to be establishing connection between router 1. Let me check. I will go to the configuration setting where I'll go to the network adding session. Here I will add the router name, default gateway. Similarly, the previous router information 11.0.0.0. The next router that I have added 12.0.0.0, and let us check the proceeding whether it is performing the functionality or not. At start, it will show us the failed sign. You can see it has been successfully assigned. You just not need to mention the name, just need to mention the network proceeding, and that things is going to be successfully done. So first three routers have been easily sending message successfully. Now we'll go to the router 3. We'll just go to the configuration setting. We'll go to the RIP, mention the router 3 default network, that is 8.0.0.0. We'll add it. After that, what we will do, we'll proceed to the surrounding network that router 3 is connected. The first one is 12.0.0.0, that is the network, and the second one is 13.0.0.0. This is the another network. Now we'll check whether the first four routers have been sending message successfully or not. It started to show us the failed sign. I will check. It's been sent successfully. Similarly, from this to this, successful. From here to here, it's successful, and from here to here, it's successful. Now we'll check out between the fifth router. We'll just go to the configuration setting. We'll go to the RIP and mention the network. The first one is a default network, that is 9.0.0.0. We'll add it. The second one is the network that it has been establishing. It's just been 13.0.0.0. And now you will see that all the router will be sending message successfully. It started to show us the failed sign, but now network will be sent successfully. You can see that the message have been sending successfully from first router to the last one, from first to the second last, from first to the third one, and similarly from first to the second one. It's relatively easy than a static routing protocol, but you need to know both the concept, as you need to be flexible in terms of configuring the router, being a network admin. So this was all about the concept of dynamic routing protocol in terms of RIP. I hope that you have learned the concept, and if you are still having certain queries, you can ask me in the comment section. Till my next video, I will take your leave. Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much.